Okay, picture this. You're in a packed stadium, sun's bright, water's sparkling, everyone's there for the big marine show. You see this amazing dive, a perfect leap, trainer and dolphin seemingly working in perfect harmony, years of trust on display. But then, imagine that moment, that beautiful connection suddenly twisting into something, well, something awful, tragic. Today we're doing a deep dive into excerpts from the tragic end of Sophie Lane. Going through this account really carefully, our mission, to pull out the crucial details, the important lessons from this specific story, understand how that harmony just shattered into horror.
Yeah, it's really important we look closely at incidents like these. I mean, not just for the fact, it's the
Correct.
sequence of events, but, for what they actually tell us about the really complex relationship between us humans and the wildness of nature, its power. This deep dive is about trying to understand those nuances behind such a terrible event.
Absolutely. And at the center of it all is Sophie Lane. She was 26 years old, a dolphin trainer at Blue Cove Marine Park. Really vibrant by all accounts. She'd spent years, literally years, building this connection with Kai. He was a big bottlenose dolphin, over 500 pounds, a powerful animal. And the crowd loved them. June 14th, the day this happened, the stadium was completely full, every seat taken. So the show starts. And it's flawless. Sophie dives off the platform, so graceful in the water. Then Kai does his signature move, pushing her up, launching her high out of the water. Just this picture of perfect teamwork.
Right. And what's really striking when you read the account is how fast that illusion, that perception of a perfect routine can just break apart. The audience is just watching this beautiful display, thinking it's all planned harmony.
Wow.
They're completely unaware of the very fine line, really, between the trained behavior and the animal's underlying instinct. That initial perfection, it just makes what happens next feel even more jarring, more shocking.
And that perfect choreography you mentioned, it shattered. Just like that, in an instant. Sophie comes up for the final trick, and Kai just charges her, suddenly, rams right into her side. Explosive force, the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
The sources say it actually echoed. And at first, incredibly, some people thought it was part of the show, like some dramatic new move. But then Sophie, she's just disappeared under the water. And that confusion, it turned to panic pretty fast.
Yeah, the excerpts detail the immediate aftermath, and it really shows how quickly the other trainers knew something was terribly wrong. They're rushing in, shouting commands at Kai, waving like mad to stop the music. Total chaos breaking out. It wasn't necessarily Kai being malicious. The sources don't really frame it that way. It might have been just an overwhelming instinctual reaction, maybe a misinterpreted cue, or just something primal taking over for a second.
He was blocking them.
He was, circling aggressively, getting in their way, which, after years of training, that behavior itself, it raises serious questions, doesn't it? Questions about the limits of control, even with an animal that seems completely used to humans.
Seconds must have felt like hours then.
Absolutely. Until finally, two trainers managed to distract him. They used a bucket of fish, apparently, created just enough of a window.
And in that window,
Yeah.
another trainer dove down and found her. Sophie was at the bottom of the pool, motionless. They pulled her to the surface right away, started CPR immediately.
Right.
But the injuries, the account describes them as just devastating. Massive internal injuries, broken ribs. At 3:47 p.m., Sophie Lane was pronounced dead. Just incredibly tragic.
Her death sent, huge shockwaves through the whole marine park world, understandably. What really comes through in the account, too, is her dedication. She genuinely loved these animals, believed in their intelligence, their beauty, and the fact that she died doing what she loved is, it's incredibly poignant, isn't it? This specific incident, the sources make clear, led to an immediate rethink of safety protocols everywhere. But maybe more than that, it reignited this really difficult, ongoing conversation about the risks. The inherent risks you just can't fully train away when you're dealing with animals this powerful, this intelligent. Their basic nature is still there.
Right. And that really feels like the core takeaway from these sources, doesn't it? That even with years of trust, years of bonding, these incredible creatures of the sea, they still hold that raw, unpredictable wild power inside them. And that wildness can just surface in a moment, challenging everything we think we know about control, about connection.
It's such a haunting reminder. No matter how strong we think the bond is between humans and wild animals, the ocean, or maybe nature itself, that raw, untamed force, it always gets the last word, ultimately. It really forces us to think about where our understanding stops, and where the purely untamed begins.
So thinking about all this, for you, listening, as we keep trying to connect with and understand wild creatures, what are the lessons here? What lessons endure when nature suddenly shows its immense untamed power, even after years of trust, seemingly unbreakable bonds?